I want to start with something I think is true about you. You don't want distance. Not really. What you want, what you have probably always wanted, is for things to be easy between you. Warm and uncomplicated. The relationship that hums along without the friction, without the weight, without the conversations that seem to go in circles and leave everyone worse than before. You want to come home and have it feel like relief. You want to be with this person and not feel like you're already failing. That is not a small thing to want. And it's not a character flaw. It's a completely human longing to have a relationship that feels safe enough to rest in. And it keeps not arriving. The more you step back to let things settle, the louder it seems to get. The more space you create, the more the reaching intensifies. And somewhere inside you, somewhere underneath the exhaustion of it, is a question you maybe haven't said out loud. Why can't we just be okay? Today, I want to answer that question, not to make you feel guilty, not to tell you that everything you've been doing is wrong, but to give you a window into something your partner experiences that you may not be able to see clearly from where you're standing. You're listening to Coupled With, the podcast that helps you take the guesswork out of feeling seen, heard, and valued in your relationship. If you've ever felt stuck in the same arguments, struggled to stay connected, or wondered how to better communicate with your partner, you're in the right place. I'm Dr. Rachel Orlick, a couples therapist and coach, and together, we're going to make relationships make sense. Let's dive in. Welcome to Coupled With. Today I'm speaking directly to the person who goes quiet, who pulls back, who needs space, who wants peace more than almost anything. This one is for you. And here's what I mean. This episode is not a guilt trip. I want to say that clearly and mean it. What your partner feels when you go quiet is not your fault in the way fault usually gets assigned, but it is yours to understand. And I think if you stay with me through this, you'll find that understanding it changes something. Let me describe a moment you probably already know. Something shifts in the room. Maybe it's a tone of voice or a look or the particular energy that arrives just before a hard conversation. Maybe it's nothing obvious, just a heaviness, a charge in the air, the sense that something is coming that you don't have the resources for right now. And something in you responds before you've made a conscious decision. A door somewhere inside of you begins to close. You are not trying to hurt anyone. You are not being cruel. You are doing the thing that your nervous system has always done when the emotional weather gets too heavy. You are moving toward the part of yourself that is quieter and safer, more manageable, and there is genuine relief in it. A real physical exhale that happens when you've created enough distance from the friction so you can start to breathe again. You tell yourself reasonable things in the moment. I just need a minute. I don't want to say something I'll regret. This is better than fighting. We both need to calm down. And those things are true. Genuinely, they're true. The problem is that they are also only true from inside your experience of the moment. Because while your nervous system is exhaling, your partner is watching the door close. They are also feeling the shift in the room. And their experience is the absence where there was presence just a moment ago. The silence where the contact was. And their nervous system, which is wired to read exactly this signal, is registering something that has nothing to do with your need for a minute. It is registering something is wrong. I'm losing them. I need to find out what happened and I need to fix it right now. So they reach, they ask, they follow, they push, and you, who genuinely just needed space, experience the pursuit as confirmation that there is no amount of stepping back that will ever be enough. The loop tightens. You go quieter. They reach harder. And two people who love each other are having completely different experiences of the same silence. Here is what I want to reframe for you, because I think it matters more than almost anything else in this episode. Most withdrawers experience their partners reaching as pressure, as criticism, as evidence that whatever they're doing isn't enough, that once again, they are failing at the thing they most want to get right. The pursuit feels like an indictment, and the natural response to feeling indicted is to move further away from the source of it. But here is what the reaching actually is. When your partner follows you, when they ask again, when they can't seem to let the silence be, when the urgency in them keeps rising even as you need it to settle, they are not attacking you. Their attachment system is doing the only thing attachment systems know how to do when the bond feels threatened. It is reaching for you, specifically for you, because you are the person they chose. The pursuit is not evidence that you're failing. It is evidence that you still matter enough to reach for, that the connection is not gone, that they have not given up on you yet. The reaching is not an accusation, it is a bid for connection. It is your partner's nervous system asking over and over again, in the only language it has in that moment, are you still here? Am I still chosen? Do I matter enough for you to come toward me? I want you to sit with that for a moment, because I think it is very different from how it has been landing with you. Your partner is not pursuing you because they want to make your life harder. They are pursuing you because they are hungry. Hungry for connection, for presence, for the specific and irreplaceable experience of feeling chosen by the person they chose. You cannot ask someone who is genuinely starving to simply want less food. Their hunger is not a character flaw. It is not them being too much. It is a signal directed at you because you are the person whose presence feeds it. So I want to talk about what you've been calling peace, the ease you've been reaching for, the harmony, the relationship that doesn't feel like work. It is a real and legitimate thing to want. I'm not going to tell you that wanting it is wrong, but I want to be honest with you about what the distance strategy is actually delivering, because I don't think it's what you're hoping for. The version of peace you're reaching for through distance requires something from your partner that they cannot give you without a cost. It requires them to stop being hungry, to stop needing you, to make their wanting smaller so the space between you feels less like a problem that needs solving. And a partner who has learned to stop reaching is not a partner at peace. It is a partner who has learned, slowly and painfully, that reaching doesn't work. That is not harmony. That is a relationship in which one person has gone quiet because the other one taught them that their hunger would not be fed. Here is what is happening right now in real time every time you go quiet. Your partner is registering the absence. Not dramatically. The nervous system does this below the level of conscious thought. It files it, adds it to a count that it didn't mean to start keeping. Every time the reach is met with distance, the attachment system updates what it knows. This is not safe. I am not chosen here. I have to work harder, or I have to give up. They are not at the giving up point yet, but they are hungry, and they are tired in the way that only people who have been reaching for a long time without fully being met get tired. Quietly, cumulatively, in a way that is very hard to reverse once it has gone far enough. And now, I want to say something that I think you already know. A lot of withdrawers don't go quiet because they don't care. They go quiet because they suspect somewhere they haven't fully looked at that they don't have what their partner needs. That staying present means being found out that they're inadequate, that the closer someone gets, the clearer it will become that they are not enough. The distance is not indifference. It is the retreat of someone who is quietly afraid of being fully seen and found wanting. Going quiet was never really about needing space. For a lot of people, it was about not knowing if they could survive being that close and still not be enough. And that fear is worth naming because it is running the whole system and it deserves more than silence. And if you happen to live in the state of Washington, I currently have 1 to 2 openings in my private practice for new therapy clients. If you've been wanting support to break old patterns and build more secure, connected relationships, you can learn more or inquire at www.meaningfuljourneycounseling.com. And don't worry, I'll leave it in my show notes. So we've just named what the silence costs. And underneath the silence, the fear that has been driving it. That changes what moving forward actually looks like, because there is really only 2 directions from here. And I think you already know what they are. In the first one, nothing changes. You continue reaching for ease through distance. Your partner continues reaching for you through pursuit. The loop runs. Their hunger deepens. Quieter over time, not louder, because hunger that goes unmet long enough stops presenting as urgency and starts presenting as more absence. The withdrawal becomes mutual. The silence becomes shared, and it feels nothing like the peace you were looking for. It feels like 2 people living alongside one another in a relationship that used to mean something, and now mostly just runs on habit and logistics. In the second one, something shifts. Not everything and not overnight, but you begin to understand the pursuit differently. Not as pressure to manage, not as evidence of your failure, but as the sound of someone who still believes the connection is worth fighting for. Someone who is still hungry for you specifically. And you begin, in the moments when the door wants to close, to make a different choice. Not the choice to become someone who never needs space. Not the choice to stay present through every hard conversation without your nervous system registering the difficulty. The choice to let your partner know in ways they can actually feel that you are choosing them. That the relationship is not something you are enduring or maintaining. It is something you are actively and deliberately choosing. In a season when a relationship is hurting, when the distance has been long and the hunger has been building, that choice may need to be made more often than feels comfortable, more visibly than feels natural, not because you owe a performance of devotion, but because a starving relationship needs to be fed, and you are the one who can feed it. I want to be direct with you here because I think you've earned it by staying with this episode. Your partner does not need a perfect conversation. They do not need you to suddenly become someone who processes emotions out loud with ease or who never needs quiet again. What they need, what they are starving for, is to feel chosen by you. And chosen is not a feeling, it is a behavior. It is something they can see and register and file in the other direction. Here is what choosing looks like in practice, not as a script, not as a direction. It looks like canceling something, the plan, the work thing, the easier option, because you looked at your partner and understood what they needed from you tonight was more important than what you had elsewhere. Not because they asked you, but because you saw the hunger and you decided to feed it. The decision made invisible and unexplained, communicates something that 100 managed conversations cannot. You are more important to me than my comfort right now. It looks like staying in the moment of tension instead of leaving it. Not perfectly, not without the discomfort your nervous system is going to register, but staying anyway, long enough for your partner to feel that you did not disappear when it got hard, that the closeness did not cost them your presence, that you are the kind of person who remains. And it looks like circling back. After you've regulated, after you've taken the space you needed, done the thing that helps you return to yourself, going back without being asked, without waiting for them to reach again, walking toward them and saying, I'm back, I'm here, I didn't forget what we were in the middle of. That return, offered without prompting, is one of the most regulating things you can give a person who has learned to brace for the silence. It tells them the door closing is not the end. I always come back to you. These are not techniques for managing pursuit. They are expressions of a choice. The choice to be the person who feeds your relationship in a season when it's hungry. Not because you have to, because you understand now what the silence has been costing the person who is still reaching for you. You went quiet because it felt safer. Because the alternative, staying close enough to be seen, being present through the hard thing, and risking the exposure that real intimacy requires, felt like more than you knew how to hold. That is not a character flaw. That is a protection strategy that was built for a reason, in a context where it kept you safe. It did its job. But the person reaching for you is not in a context that requires protection. They are someone who is starving for you, for your presence, for your choosing, for the irreplaceable experience of being with someone who stays. The reaching that has felt like pressure all this time is the sound of someone who has not yet given up, who still believes that you are worth fighting for, who keeps coming back because, for them, you are still worth coming back for. That is not a small thing. In a world where people give up on each other with remarkable ease, someone who keeps reaching is someone who has decided again and again that you are worth the discomfort of wanting you. Let that land for a moment. You don't have to become a different person to meet them there. You don't have to resolve every fear or dismantle every protection strategy before you're allowed to show up. You just have to begin in a small, specific, and visible way that love actually moves through to let them feel that you are choosing them back. A relationship that is hurting needs to be fed more than it needs to be managed. More presence, not less. More choosing, not more distance. Not because the distance is wrong to need, because the person on the other side of it has been hungry for too long. The peace you've been looking for has been waiting on the other side of turning toward them. If you want the guided version of this work, my private audio series is linked in the show notes. You can start anytime. That's it for today's episode of Coupled With. Thank you so much for spending this time with me. If this episode resonated with you, I'd love for you to hit subscribe so you never miss what's next. And if you found it helpful, please share it with a friend or leave a quick rating and review. It really helps more than you know. And if you're curious about how we might work together or want more resources to strengthen your relationship, head over to my website, www.drrachelorlick.com. You'll find free tools, podcast extras, and ways to go deeper. Thanks again for listening, and I'll see you next time.